Hello, my name is Jacqueline Pollauf, and today I wanted to share a quick practicing tip about counting rests when preparing ensemble music. One path that many students follow is that they begin by playing solo music, and then maybe eventually they have a chance to play with a chamber ensemble or an orchestra, and with that ensemble playing, of course, comes passages of rest in the music. And this is actually a really big topic, being well prepared for rests. There's all kinds of ways to prepare, such as listening to recordings, writing in cues, studying scores, all kinds of things. But today I just wanted to talk about one highly specific aspect of preparing for that. And that's what to do with those passages of rest when you're just learning the part, you're alone in your practice room and trying to get it all under your fingers. And what a lot of students do is they ignore the passages of rest. So for example, they might play their first section of notes, and then when they come to the end of that, they'll kind of take a little break and maybe adjust their bench or their music or think about something else for a moment, and then when they're ready, they'll jump back in and play the second passage of notes. And this doesn't really set things up well for rehearsal or performance with the ensemble, because you're unintentionally giving yourself the idea that the rests truly are a break or a moment to relax. And rests aren't really that. Instead, they're just a different way to engage with the music, and you want to stay focused and aware of the tempo and all kinds of things. However, it can be quite strange to be alone and to count out all of the rests in your practice. That's not really an efficient use of time, especially if it's many rests, like 40 rests or 60 rests between passages or things. So I think what makes a lot of sense is to do something kind of in between the two extremes and to just count some of the rests in your individual practice. Personally, what I like to do is I like to count at least the first bar of rest and the last bar of rest for the passages, sometimes a bit more if I have some pedals to change or a page turn, things like that. And I find that this really helps me to stay engaged and focused. And by counting the first and the last bar, then I'm very aware of how many rests I'm going to need to count up to. So for example, let's say that the first passage is something like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then maybe there's 23 measures of rest, and then the next passage. So what I'll do in my practice is I'll go ahead and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 22, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm counting that first bar and the 23rd bar, and then that gives me the boundaries of the rests and helps to really stay focused on them and thinking about the tempo and the time signature and all those things. And I think this is a great practice approach. I really encourage students to do this when they're learning ensemble pieces. If they need to put in a few extra bars of rest in between there, that can be great too, but it's a great way to make sure that you're truly practicing your rests as well as your notes.